Donald Trump just had a full-blown meltdown, and in the process, he completely sabotaged Mike Johnson's already failing budget fight. After weeks of Johnson struggling to get a deal through Congress, Trump jumped in and managed to make the crisis even worse. Instead of actually solving the problem, Trump's interference has Republicans in chaos and the government just days away from a shutdown. So stick around to see how Trump derailed his own party's negotiations, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. As we all know, Congress's #1 job is to pass spending bills several times a year to keep the government running, but MAGA Speaker Mike Johnson can't even manage that. Earlier this year, he had to repeatedly delay his own spending bill because he couldn't get his party together for the vote.
We're just getting some breaking news, and I'm actually just seeing this for the first time, and you may not know because you're out talking to me, but I'm hearing that House Speaker Mike Johnson just pulled tonight's expected vote on the Republican budget blueprint. There'd been a number of Republican holdouts on this, despite the president's support.
That clip was from back in April, and now that it's time for the fall budget bills, Mike Johnson is once again in hot water. The deadline for this new funding bill is October 1st, and Republicans have been fighting each other so much that Speaker Johnson had to send everyone home on recess. Now, with a government shutdown looming, much of Trump's agenda could come to a screeching halt without funding, and Mike Johnson is scrambling for a solution. Just this week, Johnson was able to pass a temporary bill extending his deadline to the month of November, but it could only pass with Democrat support.
The ball is in Chuck Schumer's court. I hope he does the right thing. I hope he does not choose to shut the government down and inflict pain unnecessarily on the American people. I hope that they will vote on this clean short-term CR so that we can continue the work to get our appropriations done.
Mike Johnson went so far as to imply that Democrats are responsible for helping him fund the government. Can you believe this guy? After failing to pass a real spending bill, Mike Johnson tried to pass the blame for his failure onto Democrats. Well, just like he said, the ball was in Chuck Schumer's court, and the Senate Democrats just absolutely dunked on Mike Johnson. They rejected his bill at the last minute and told him that he doesn't get any extensions on his homework. And of course, Mike Johnson is freaking out about that on Fox News.
So well in advance, without drama, we put a nonpartisan, short-term continuing resolution on the floor, just to keep the government open responsibly so the appropriators can finish this process. And guess what Chuck Schumer did, Larry? He came out with a highly partisan wish list of items, a crazy list of things. He wanted to increase spending by over $1.4 trillion of new spending to attach onto this thing. He wanted to reinstitute paying illegal aliens free health care by taxpayer funding. He wanted to add $500 million to prop up left-wing media organizations again. We're just not doing that, and he knows it. So Chuck Schumer is trying to force the government into a shutdown, and he's going to pay the price for that.
Instead of actually trying to write a budget bill that people agree on, Mike Johnson has been ranting on Fox News that Democrats want to fund a radical agenda. In reality, Democrats are actually saying that the bill has to continue to fund Obamacare programs. Mike Johnson is just mad that Democrats won't vote for a spending bill that guts healthcare. And just today, Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries called out Mike Johnson for exactly that. Jeffries says that Republicans control the House and any shutdown that comes is their fault. He says that Democrats are willing to vote for a bill as long as it doesn't involve destroying American healthcare, which I think is very reasonable.
Here's what is clear, as you've indicated, Ben, example after example after example, telling the American people that we are going to shut the government down unless everyone is willing to continue this process of gutting the healthcare of the American people is unacceptable. The government is scheduled to shut down on October 1st. The House was scheduled to vote and be present in Washington, D.C. on Monday, September 29th, and Tuesday, September 30th, in advance of the government possibly shutting down. And Mike Johnson has said, stay at home. That's ridiculous. So Democrats are coming back to Washington. We will be there, ready, willing, and able to do the people's business next week, regardless of whether Republicans are in town or not.
As usual, the Democrats are the only adults in Washington, and after he tried to get involved in the situation, Donald Trump ended up making everything much worse. After Mike Johnson repeatedly failed to negotiate a budget with Democrats, Donald Trump invited Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries to the White House to negotiate a new budget plan. And you know who wasn't invited? Mike Johnson. How embarrassing is that? Now, some Republicans praised the president for stepping in and said that he would save us from a government shutdown, but this is Donald Trump we're talking about. things only get worse when he's involved. Just days after agreeing to meet with Democrats, Trump canceled the meeting with a massive Truth Social meltdown. And when I say massive, I mean massive. Now, obviously I can't read all of that because it would take all day, but the gist is that apparently before the meeting, Democrat leaders told Trump that they wouldn't agree to any bill that cut medical funding. And the president just absolutely flipped out because of that, because cutting Medicare is how Republicans plan on shrinking the budget. In his post, Trump says that the Democrats are getting in the way of his agenda, Americans didn't vote for this funding chaos, and Democrats are actually pro-transgender rights. And ironically, he's right about all three. And just like Mike Johnson's failed attempt to put the blame for this chaos on Democrats, Hakeem Jeffries turned right back around and blasted the president for bringing us closer to a shutdown.
The statement that Donald Trump issued today was unhinged, and it related to issues that have nothing to do with the spending bill that is before the Congress and the need to try to avoid a government shutdown. Nothing to do with transgender issues or any of the other wild things from the standpoint of what actually is under discussion in the context of this meeting. Leader Schumer and I sent a letter that we publicly released on Saturday that made clear what the stakes are for the American people. And it related to the Republican health care crisis, the attack on Medicaid, the attack on Medicare, the attack on the Affordable Care Act, the attack on our hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health clinics, and the attack on medical research. Period. Full stop.
The leaders of the Democrat Party have made it clear that they won't support the Republican agenda in this bill. And after Donald Trump canceled his negotiations with Democrats, he then started saying that Republicans should refuse to negotiate on the bill as well. But this would only make the shutdown more likely to happen. Donald Trump is now playing with fire because if a shutdown occurs, millions of Americans' healthcare, schools, and businesses could be affected. And according to these resurfaced clips of Donald Trump, when a shutdown occurs, it's really the president's fault.
First question, Donald, we're having a hell of a time trying to negotiate here in Washington. So tell me, if you were president, what would you do?
Well, very simply, you have to get everybody in a room. You have to be a leader. The president has to lead. I hear the Democrats are going to be blamed and the Republicans are going to be blamed. I actually think the president would be blamed. If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the president of the United States. He's the one that has to get people together.
They're not going to be talking who the head of the House was, the head of the Senate, who's running things in Washington. So I really think the pressure is on the president.
According to Donald Trump himself, a president must be a strong leader and get people to negotiate. And now this week, Trump is canceling negotiations and melting down on Truth Social, all while America sprints headfirst towards a government shutdown. Donald Trump had the perfect opportunity to save the government from a disaster, and instead, he proved just how weak of a leader he truly is. Comment below what you think of this impending Republican disaster, and for more videos like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more.